Hey there. Some people see meditation as a out of the ordinary, unusual discipline, whereby we're creating something artificial. We're reaching unimaginable states of consciousness. Even some practitioners who know the theory and are engaged with a tradition find it hard, having read the descriptions of the different states they're wishing to achieve, to visualize them, to understand them, to really be able to get a clear sight of where they're headed. The truth is that meditation is a natural practice, and all the states of consciousness which we are aiming to achieve occur in day-to-day life. They're certainly things that you have experienced or observed others taking part in. In this video, I'm going to show you examples of this so that you can really understand what is intended in your practice. This is really important and really empowering. Just imagine how useful having a clear map is when you're going on such a journey. Just think how important it is to know your target when you're taking aim. If you can remember a time when you have already experienced the state of consciousness that you're seeking when you sit, you'll be able to reach it with a far greater ease than if you're just following the instructions of others and hoping that something they've described will appear. Now, if we look throughout different traditions from the East to the West, we will find that there are very consistent descriptions of both meditation and the stages of attainment in meditation. The words may vary, but the truth is meditation is universally focusing on one thing. It's the art of keeping the mind on one object or subject without distraction or diversion. So whether it's a mantra you're repeating, the breath that you're watching, a symbol you're imagining, or a particular subject you're going to contemplate, meditation is about union with that thing. And this union comes in three distinct stages, and there are many different terms for it. In yoga, they call this dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. In the Christian Western tradition, they say contemplatio, meditatio, extatio. The three stages are ones that are achieved and experienced in day-to-day life, but just to a lesser, more subtle degree. And I will describe them to you in turn so that you know exactly where you're headed and how to reproduce them. So the first stage is one of concentration. Concentration is when you have decided to focus your mind on one specific thing, and you need to use a vigorous sense of effort to keep it on it. You want your mind on there, but there's lots of other distractions. There's internal resistance, there's external activity. You need to keep moving your attention back towards it again and again. This is the first stage in meditation. You sit there and you've got to keep your mind on it, and there's all sorts of things pulling you away, and it takes effort to keep on that specific thing. Now, you have experienced this and seen many others do so. This is the normal way most people do things. So if they've got a job to do, or if they're trying to focus on something to learn or experience, they're having to do this. They're continually applying effort to keep the mind on that again, again, and again. So now you know that's the first stage. And it's going to be a little bit more intense than when you're doing things you're used to when you sit in your meditation. You can kind of imagine what the next stage might be like. The next stage, which is meditation, is one that's got more flow. So in this state, you and the subject are more in harmony. There's a uniting of different aspects of yourself. You put your heart in it, your mind's on that. Everything's flowing towards that subject. And instead of that ongoing vigorous effort, all you need to do is just ward away the odd distraction or diversion, just to keep with the flow. You might have experienced this in day-to-day life. Maybe you took part in a sport which is really involved. Maybe it was climbing or fencing or running, and you went into the zone. It was just you and the activity. You forgot everything else. You didn't think in terms of your name or what people were thinking. You were just doing it. Maybe it's been at other times in your life. If you're a crafts person and you're very skilled and you're involved with that, you're playing a musical instrument, that could be it too. Maybe there's been times in your life when you've been so emotionally involved, you're loving what's going on, or you're in love with the person you're talking to, you forget everything else and you're just at one with that moment. So that would be natural meditation. And meditation in formal practice is said to allow you to have more insight and skillfulness and connection with that subject. And you probably found that in life. You need to get into that state to draw, and then you connect with a more vigorousness and more depth. Now, the next step, which you can see naturally grows on this, is one of union, of oneness. This sense of oneness has a sense of pleasure with that connection, which is even stronger than that subtle joy of meditation. Now, this doesn't occur very often in day-to-day life, but I have observed it. Just think of someone who's been mulling on something for a long time. It could be someone who's got a bad habit and they want to reform, and they're going to give that up. They're going to stop that, and they've been talking about it and thinking about it for years and years and years. And suddenly one day, that's it. They've made a decision. To them, it's like they've made a new decision, but it's been a decision that's been building up. They are at one with that new decision. And afterwards, they're reformed. They've changed. Maybe it's someone doing a more deep contemplation on something they're working on. Maybe it's an artist who's had a new idea and it's been growing and growing, and they experience this oneness more often than most. They're going to paint that picture. They can't help it. It's going to come out, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing, and bam, it becomes painted. And in that moment, it's just them and art. You can imagine a scientist or a mathematician working on a problem could have the same natural samadhi, the same natural oneness. I've also seen it with big decisions about life, either a change of job or I'm going to leave that person who's not treating me right, and years of talking to everyone, thinking about I'm going to leave him, I'm going to get that new job, I'm going to do that. And then one day, boom, there's a oneness. And this natural samadhi has the same effects. In meditation, it's believed that if you meditate on something, you will achieve a oneness with it that can change your personality, that can lead to a new higher consciousness, that can even allow you to connect with the underlying energies and control and direct them. And that person who's made that decision, their personality does change. They've left that old habit behind. They've changed the new way of being. This natural samadhi, if you've experienced or seen it, you can tune into it for your practice. This is what we're seeking in our practice. Yoga Sutra of Patanjali says to gain the strength of an elephant, meditate on the strength of an elephant. Plotinus, he says, to shine like the sun, be at one with the sun. This union gives us a blessing that we take into the world. And this is the ultimate goal of our meditation practice. Now, there are higher stages within those stages, but that's outside the scope of this video. But what I do want to say to you is that this is natural. This is actually what's happening with human consciousness. We all start out with less consciousness when we're born, and as we grow, our consciousness grows too. Soon, we're starting to move to being able to concentrate. And that, you can see, is the state where most people, their progress stops. Is the odd thing where they meditate when they do. Then, ultimately, if we were to carry on practicing arts like meditation, which teach us how to refine our consciousness, to combine and unify ourselves inside, so there's no inner conflict or distraction, we would start to be able to achieve a meditation in everything we did. Our life would become meditation. Then we would find certain times of life we're so in tune in this state that we can respond to things with freedom. We are in harmony with the universe and cooperate with it. In our meditation, of course, we would be starting to achieve this samadhi state. And that's the ultimate goal. Beyond life becoming meditation, life becomes samadhi. We are in pure union at all times. My name's Martin Folks, and I hope this video was of use to anyone interested in meditation who wants to have a clear vision of where they're to go and to understand these mind states so they can achieve them. Until next time, let's make every word, thought, and action count.